Hi, I'm Kevin Lopez with the Azure Stack Global Black Belt team, and I'm joined here today by my colleague, Alton.
Good afternoon, everyone. Kevin, thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Sure. So today we're going to talk about kind of the first steps with your Azure Stack. So this is going to apply whether you're an MSP and you're going to set it up for a bunch of customers, or you're just a customer and you're setting it up for your internal customers, correct?
That is correct, yeah.
Okay, so you're going to walk us through the OEM kind of delivered and help me integrate the Azure Stack into my data center. And they've done a fantastic job, and now it's my turn to kind of take the keys and kind of get things rolling.
Exactly, yeah. So basically, how do you operationalize your Azure Stack now that they have done all of the integration for you? So, first steps, so to
We
speak.
have a demo-filled environment today, correct?
We do indeed.
Excellent.
Yep,
All right,
absolutely.
let's get into it.
So what we'll do, we'll shoot right over to the demo piece here, and what I'd like to do is typically walk you through the Azure portal first before we start looking at the Azure Stack environment. The reason I do this is simply because there's a very powerful piece of the equation that happened in the development of Azure Stack, and that is the fact that we took the code for ARM, Azure Resource Manager, and put that into Azure Stack. That's enabling the entire ecosystem, and it gives you that consistency also between Azure and Azure Stack.
And that's why we like to say Azure Stack is an extension of Azure.
Absolutely, 100% an extension. So, and it's very, you would adopt an Azure Stack for specific use cases. So it's, it's not to replace Azure by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So coming over here, again, so I'm in the Azure dashboard at the moment. And here, everyone's kind of familiar with this. This is actually powered by ARM. In here, we can go through and get all the Azure services, do all of the kind of cool stuff you can do with the cloud. And then if we come over to Azure Stack, I'm going to bounce right into the tenant dashboard right here.
Okay.
You can see instantly, it's pretty much the same thing. So, but at the same time, you got to be careful. You got to make sure you know which one you're operating in.
Right. We talk about the top left there. It kind of
Absolutely. So right up here,
you.
we call it Microsoft Azure Stack.
Okay.
And then versus Azure, obviously, for the Azure
Right.
public side. So back in here, again, that consistent environment. I've customized my dashboard a little bit differently here, and just to throw up what services I've deployed on here, just ease of access. But again, over here now we're able to come down, just choose anything we want to deploy, and just like in Azure, click New, go through, select virtual machines, do all that kind of cool stuff. But there's two sides to Azure Stack, and this is what's important around bringing that public cloud into your data center.
right. Okay.
The customer now has a tenant dashboard, which we all know and love, but we also have the administrator dashboard. In here, there's a whole lot of new things that everyone's going to need to get familiar with.
Okay.
We have the ability to come in here, create offers and plans. That's really kind of focused around how am I going to offer services to my customers inside of my enterprise. Or as an MSP, even the same thing, offering services to customers that might be onboarding to the service provider's platform. We have managing user subscriptions. It's very cool to come through and look through some of these things, understand how they work. And this is kind of waterfalled, I would say, from us at Microsoft into this product, the security elements wrapped around this. I can come in here, I do have visibility into user subscriptions created, but that's all I can do. I cannot go into any user subscriptions. So if we look at any one of these, like, just pick this GBB dev test one right here, this is all I can see. I see some information, I see the name, I can see who created it, and then I see the subscription ID and the tenant directory ID.
Okay. So you can see basic stuff. If you need to contact the owner for something, you find a way to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Absolutely. And likewise, if a user's contacting you, at least you can associate the subscription ID to the user that's calling for support.
Okay.
But you're not going to be able to go any further than this. Again, I can see no data.
Yeah.
And we have marketplace management. We have virtual machines, obviously, as you would expect. We have capacity management in here, and a really important element. You come in, now I have full visibility into all of the physical storage on my Azure Stack, physical memory, as well as the public IP pool usage. And this is where I keep harping on to everyone about changing your mindset to become a capacity manager.
Yeah.
It truly is about capacity management. You're working with a limited amount of resources. What do you do, and how do you kind of control that?
Okay. So the administrator are building it out for their tenants to make sure that they're getting the optimal experience.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And as you go through and you define offers and plans as well, that's a really, really crucial piece of creating offers and plans is how much of each one of those resources are you going to allocate to that user or tenant.
Right. And we have another video with the offers and plans that we did as well.
We absolutely do. Yep. Update management, you can come in, manage updates. If I have anything available, it will show up here for me, and then I can just simply go ahead and click on update. Very simple approach to the whole update process for the entire Azure Stack stamp. Now it's a highly, highly automated process, and it goes through one node at a time, drains them off, ejects the server, updates it, reinserts it, and repopulates the server.
So I know a lot of customers often ask us, well, I want to wait, skip an update or wait a little bit on it. What's the rule around that?
Great question. So we do have a kind of a hard rule or line in the sand that customers must stay within the last 3 months of updates.
Okay.
So they must stay current up to the last 3 months. They can go beyond that. The issue that they're going to run into, should anything occur, is that if they call Microsoft or the OEM for support, we're really going to have to require that they come up to at least that 3-month window before they can obtain support.
Okay. So we don't shut off the system or anything like that?
We don't shut it off. Everything will continue to function. But we have that line in the sand, just really trying to force customers to stay up to date somewhat in terms of cloud readiness and adoption.
Okay.
We're developing and innovating for these platforms so fast. We need customers to stay up to date so they can get all of the latest goodies.
Right. All right.
Yep. And then, I think we've had other modules as well where we've dived into SQL hosting servers, MySQL app service as well. So, all of these are add-ons that I've put in here. They're not there by default, but what I do want to show you is what's there by default out of the box as soon as you stand this thing up.
Okay.
So in here, we have resource providers. Now, resource provider is essentially is all individual components. So everything's kind of compartmentalized. I have my capacity, compute, infrastructure, key vault, network, and storage. This culminates into everything you need to basically be able to operate an infrastructure as a service environment from day one.
So that's a little bit different than what we talked about in a previous session with PaaS, where we kind of give customers choices of what they want to do. With the IaaS environment, we're giving them kind of all the basic things that they need to get started.
Yes, absolutely. They have everything right here. So, and there's some cool things you can do in here, like, if we take a look at the compute resource provider as an example. In here, we actually have our VM images. So this is what we refer to as our platform image repository. And this is linking to a database where all of our images are stored. These images can be either images that we bring to the system or images that I've syndicated from the Azure Stack Marketplace. They will all be housed here. So we can see I have a whole lot of things in here already, and these are all items I've syndicated from the Azure Stack Marketplace. But if I have my own custom VHD, come in, click add, I can just give my, could be Joe's Donut Shop in here as the publisher, whoever you want it to be, the offer, the OS type, and then simply come down here, fill out the form, and then upload your VHD.
And away we go.
And away you go.
All right.
All right.
Seems pretty straightforward.
Very straightforward. These are, it's very good practice to come in and learn your resource providers and what you can do in here. Then we have the storage one as well. This is going to give you visibility into all the storage accounts created on here, but there's a really good little nugget hidden in here. If you come into storage accounts, I'm going to share.
All right.
So you have users go through the process. You have developers who may come and go and use the system and then forget to not burn everything before they leave. In here, we have a reclaim space button also, where you can basically scavenge the system, take back all unused storage, and then offer that back up into the pool for users to consume.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So
That's very useful.
It's a good, it's a hidden button kind of, but it's a really good one to know. So they're the core resource providers that are there by default. But what I'd love to show you, how to do, how quick and easy it is to kind of get operating with one of these, is coming back to that marketplace piece that I just touched on. So again, I have all of these images in here. So a lot of really cool stuff. I've Barracuda, I've Windows, I've Linux, I've all sorts of stuff in here, Docker even.
And these come from the Azure Stack Marketplace.
Azure Stack Marketplace,
okay.
Yes, absolutely. And now because this Azure Stack that we're working with is a connected Azure Stack, meaning it is physically registered to my Azure subscription, I have the ability to syndicate from the Azure Marketplace right through the GUI.
Beautiful.
You can still do something like this in a disconnected deployment, but that's actually going to have to be done through PowerShell.
Oh, right, because you don't have that connection to the
Yes.
Azure Public Marketplace.
Exactly. So, very easily I can come in, select anything I'm looking for here. If I wanted to deploy like, the latest Ubuntu server, select it, come in and download. Now it's a good practice to come in and just kind of always, visualize this is 30 gigs, realize how much space it's going to take up on your platform. They range from a few megabytes up to 127 gigs.
Oh, okay.
So, so just be aware of that.
You want to look at them to make sure what you're getting.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Plan accordingly.
Plan accordingly. So now that I already have these all in place, and luckily I also have an offer already built. So I have a bunch of offers in here. We're actually going to use what I call my general offer here today.
Okay.
And my general offer is designed where it actually offers all of the IaaS capabilities, as well as my SQL and my app service and all of the app service resource providers I've installed in here. So as a user, I've already made this available as an administrator to users. So as my user, I come back in now. How do I do this? Very simply, again, just like we do in Azure every day, new, compute, select a VM image that you would like to deploy. So let's just go with a 2012 as an example. Go ahead and create that. Now, there's some things that may be visually different in here, or even operationally different, I should say, where, this is not true parity to Azure. And that plays true to all of our other clouds. It's not just Azure Stack. So you know that as we're developing for Azure, everything comes to Azure first and later waterfalls to all of our other clouds.
Right.
Like all of the sovereign clouds as well as Azure Stack. That being said, we may not have all of the latest questions and boxes and features inside of Azure Stack, but more and more of that is coming.
Right.
So we can go through here, just name this like a Windows VM or something. If I could spell, window 1 or something like that. Just name it Holding KI, give it a password here. Deploy this into my general description. Let's just name this Chicago 22 or something. It's going to go into my West region. So I only have one region in my Azure Stack.
Okay.
Okay. And now we're also able to choose, you want to save money, save 40% because I already own my licensing. So, we have that luxury.
That's a yes. Yeah. All right. I like that.
And I'll confirm that I have the license. And now we can go through, select the size. I'll just select like a D1. Now just on the sizes really quickly.
Right.
Azure Stack today supports all of the A series and D series. Again, more is in the pipeline, and it's publicly disclosed already that we're bringing, I think it's F series is coming in the not too distant future. So again, more and more is going to come here, but right now this really this is what we felt fit the bill for Azure Stack.
And really quick, in your point, because you made it now a few times, so Azure Stack is not meant to be compared directly with Azure. It's more of a, hey, this is an extension of Azure. You could use this, and here's the services that are on. We have more coming. There's a lot more being built. We've got a lot of interest from partners and ISVs. So Azure Stack is growing, but when you look at a parity component to it, right,
Yep.
the size is just way, out there.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. So, I often think about it in these terms. When we built Azure, we were not really thinking about Azure Stack, or it wasn't at the forefront of our mind.
Got it.
Azure was built as a hyperscale platform.
Yeah.
We can't have an expectation that customers are going to go and buy thousands of servers for an Azure Stack. So we'll go with the D1 right here, select that. Now I can come down, go through my additional settings, storage account, virtual network, IP addresses. So very highly customizable,
Sure.
just like it is in Azure. I'll just select all the defaults to save time here, and we can go ahead and just start deploying right away. Validation is passed. We can download our template, save that for future deployments, but we're just working on a short process here,
Right,
so
right.
Our deployment is in progress. And it's just really that simple.
Wow, that was pretty easy.
Yep.
Okay.
And yeah, that's really kind of what I wanted to show you today. So
All right.
hopefully, yeah, this is useful.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, no, I think so, because again, when you're a service provider, you're a customer. Again, the OEMs do a remarkable job getting it integrated, getting everything set up. And then these are the things that you need to begin to plan for. So
Yep.
we're doing this video series to make sure that you as a customer, you as an administrator understand all the things that you have to consider as you begin to build out your Azure Stack. So thanks again, Alton.
Thank
Appreciate
you
your
very
time.
much.
All
Yeah,
right.
appreciate it. Thank you
See you
all.
in the next one.